This is George with Pro Drain and Rooter Service working at 2117 Southeast 20th, Ladd's Addition, working from in Portland, working from a basement clean-out. It's on the south side of the house in the basement. Push the camera out approximately getting close to 90 feet here. Out to the sewer goes out to the back. And joins the sewer that runs down the alley, the center of the alley. So, as you can see, we're into some mud here. The pipe is pretty much disintegrated, or the elbow at least is gone. So we've got, I've got the bathtub running and the kitchen sink upstairs. So that's where that water is coming from. However, as we can see as we come back, there's actually no water flow making its way all the way through the pipe to the sewer at this point. So the water that we're seeing is coming from underground, underneath the pipe. So as you come back a few feet, and I've got this located to mark. This is in the alleyway. West of the garage. It's on the alley, on the west side, so kind of on the southwest corner of the garage. That's where we are right now. As we come back here, we can see that there's actually no water making its way through the pipe that we've got running from the house through this section. And so we get to this point here, where there's a hole in the bottom of the pipe, and we can see that the little water that is actually making its way this far is going out the bottom. So the bottom of the pipe is gone. I've got this located and marked. It is at the southwest corner of the garage. Trying to remember the depth that's out there. It's marked in the ground. 5.5 feet, I believe. 5'9", 5'9" or 6'9", I can't remember. But that's the depth there. So this is running diagonally across the from the alleyway back toward the house. It comes underneath from the front of the garage, underneath the fence. And then up under the steps, the concrete steps that lead to the backyard, or lead from the backyard. And then under the tree area, or beside the tree, I should say. And then through the ivy, and then ultimately underneath the fence, and then the grass strip that's between the houses here. Between this house, 2117, I think it's 2115, Southeast 20th. So we can see that there's more water flowing here in this area. I'll go ahead and turn the water off now so that we can see better the condition of the pipe. But I just wanted to give that reference, because we can see how well the water is flowing through here, and then the stream begins to diminish. And I believe that's because of the condition of the pipe, that it's become porous. Now we could be on a downward trajectory, so this is going to be flowing maybe a little faster and a little more shallow. But even then, we're still pretty thin in the amount of water that's making its way all the way through. So I'll go turn off the water in the tub, and then we'll just leave the water running in the sink. Okay, the tub's got a little bit of water in it. It's draining out. We'll just go ahead and let this drain down a bit. I'll pull it back. You can see there are a lot of worms in this line, which usually indicates that that it's porous, that there has been a lot of sludge, meaning waste and paper buildup that's just been piling up in this line. It was recently cleaned, and so now it's empty of all the waste and paper for the most part. We can see a little bit remaining, or that remains in the line after use. You can see just how rough this pipe is. The actual integrity of the pipe as far as the structural, the roundness of it, all that looks pretty good. It's round, it's not offset. We can see the joints here. They're not too bad, but we can also see just how rough this is getting. The cement is washing away, the aggregate is left. We've got a hole there in the bottom on the right side of the screen. So this pipe is wearing out, and it's just not functioning as well as it should. So what happens is the water will flow into the ground in these open areas, in these joints, and through the porous pipe. The waste and paper will remain in this rough concrete. You can see more of that. The water line, you can see quite a bit, just how rough it is through here. Again, the pipe is still round. It's not offset. It's not broken. There are no roots that I'm seeing here. But it's just wearing out. It's just becoming so thin that it is not carrying all the waste through the line. So I've just got a little bit of water running still, but you can see how even with just a small amount of water, that this is a heavier flow the closer we get back to the house. Again, another joint that's just a little bit rough. There's some paper in there that's kind of just obscuring the view of that joint. But it's just a little bit rough. Concrete pipe. Earlier when I pushed the camera through without any water, there were just a load of worms in here. It was covered with worms, which usually indicates that there's quite a bit of waste. This is interesting. Here on the side we can see actually water flowing into the drain from outside. You can see on the left side of the screen, right in the center, we've got water coming in. And so I assume that when the water's flowing heavy, it must be there's enough getting into the ground. The ground's becoming saturated and the water's flowing through. Or flowing out and then making its way back in. Another joint with holes. Water seems to be coming in from up above on the side here. Again, on the side of the screen. More water that seems to be coming in from the ground. When we run water to higher level, it seems to be saturating the soil and coming back into the line. You see how this paper just sits in line, doesn't really move. Isn't just flowing out as it should. Now the house I'm in 2117 is vacant. Yeah, this image is looking pretty rough. It looks pretty bad. Again, it's round, it's not offset or broken, it's just leaking very badly, which is very porous and rough. Shortly we'll make a transition from this concrete, 6-inch concrete line into 4-inch cast iron pipe. We can see how the pipe is making kind of a slight turn here. We can see as we look straight that it looks like it's veering to the right, and that's what it does as it goes across from the center of the two properties and veers across through the back of this property, 2117. And again, we've got a little bit of a little drop here as we make the transition from cast to concrete. Yeah, right here we are. On the left, we can see it looks like where a rain drain probably ties into this sewer. So that's probably coming from the neighboring property, 2125. Now here we are in 4-inch cast iron. This pipe looks like it's in good shape. Joints are fine, no sign of any leaking, just a nice smooth bottom. Not much in the way of buildup on the pipe as far as scale or anything else on the top. It looks pretty good. Now we're making we've been traveling in a east to, well, we've been moving, the drain runs from east to west, and so as we were coming from west to east, we now make the transition back to this particular, where this drain connects, and you can see we have a Y here. So it appears, at least from my observation, and from what I understand looking at Portland maps, that this potentially is a party line drain that's shared with the neighboring house, 2125. Got a little bit of an opening there on that side. It looks like it's okay, but there is a little bit of a gap right here. And then as we come back up, make another, so we've gone through, what we've got is a Y fitting into a 45, which gives us a 90-degree turn, and then coming straight into the house here. So under the sidewalk, straight out from this is where we are at this point, and then coming up to the clean out that's here in the basement. Here's the clean out, laundry tray, washer dryer. So this is the kitchen drain and the window, stairs. So you can see where this is. So at this point, it is draining. The line is clear for the most part. However, it is in poor condition and needs to be replaced or lined or something at this point. It will continue to have backup issues, sludge blockage, and it will just require cleaning regularly. The end of the line where it connects to this is in the alley, where I was not able to get all the way into the city sewer, as you noticed on the very beginning of the video, because the elbow was just gone, and the first time I pushed through there we just pushed into mud. So in the alleyway, the pipe is in very bad condition. As we come back to the garage, there's a hole in the bottom, and then all throughout the line as we come back, the 6-inch concrete is very porous and rough. And so that concludes the inspections here at 2117 Southeast 20th.